Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, it is so great to have you. I'm Antoinette, a New Zealander living in Germany, and I think that I am well overdue to make a weird things they do in Germany update. So I have made so many of these videos, and I think my very first cultural video on this channel was called Weird Things They Do in Germany, and I always get lots and lots of mixed responses when I make videos like this. But if you guys know me, you will know how much I love Germany. Germany is my heart. I adore this country. But I have to say that when I first moved to Germany as a New Zealander, fresh off the boat as they say, there were a lot of things that I found weird about Germany and things that German people did, and right now a lot of these things are so normal to me. I'm gonna link all of the weird things they do in Germany videos in my description if you're interested in checking them out. So here is my part, is it part 5? Maybe part 6, I'm not quite sure. But here are some of the weird things that they do in Germany. Okay guys, so one of the things that I just found so weird when I first heard about this is the fact that the German government is able to reject a baby name that you have chosen to call your child if they don't think that it is appropriate. And I just couldn't believe this, because in New Zealand we have all sorts of crazy baby names. People make up names for their kids. Some people like to mix their name and their partner's name together to make up some kind of baby name, and I even, like, I am not joking, I even once saw a baby announcement. We have our baby announcements in the newspaper, well at least they used to in New Zealand, and somebody in New Zealand called their baby Rugby, which, if you don't know what rugby is, it is a huge sport in New Zealand. New Zealanders, a lot of them are crazy about rugby. But anyway, that would never happen in Germany. It would never be allowed. You will notice in Germany that the majority of Germans have very sort of reserved traditional baby names for their children, which I personally love. Like, I am somebody that loves traditional baby names, good solid baby names, but I know a lot of people like to have different names and names that they've made up, names that nobody else has ever heard of. Good luck if you live in Germany and you're one of those people who like these crazy bizarre baby names. It's just not going to happen in Germany. You have to register your baby name to the civil registration office in Germany, and they can flat out reject your baby name if they don't think it's appropriate. And so there are certain names that are allowed in Germany, and these names are just names that are real names. You can challenge their decision and maybe they will change their mind, but most of the time they won't. And every time you do this, it costs you a little bit. I don't know exactly how much, but it can be quite a costly process. There is a huge list of names that you can choose from. The sort of names that they reject are made up names, names of products. You're not allowed to call your baby a name that would be traditionally used as a surname, and you're also not allowed to have gender neutral names, which surprised me actually. But most gender neutral names will be rejected in Germany. You have to choose a name that indicates a specific gender. As I mentioned, no brand names are allowed, so you can't call your child something like Gucci or Prada or something like that. But you can use cultural names, names from different countries that are actual names. Like a friend of mine who is Japanese, married to a German guy, both of their children have Japanese names, Miyu and Lito. And those names were accepted because those are real names, so you're allowed those kind of names. No made-up names or just silly names. Some of the names that I hear people in New Zealand naming their children are just ridiculous, and these people aren't thinking about their children's future at all. They're just thinking, oh, this is super trendy right now and I want to be cool and different, and they're not thinking about how that will affect the child later on in life. You know, maybe the child is going to be super cool and some crazy hippie artist, and they will suit having some crazy name, but for the most part, I think a child would do a lot better in life if they have a name that isn't kind of silly. So I like this law. and I think it's great, but I think a lot of you probably will disagree with me. Okay, another thing that I found super weird when I first came to Germany is the fact that you are not allowed to wish somebody happy birthday before it's their actual birthday. This is considered bad luck. It's sort of like a superstitious kind of thing, so you will get bad luck if you do that. Or is it the birthday person that will get bad luck? I'm not sure, but it's just, I think in general, it's just bad luck to do that. So just say you see a person a week before their birthday, but you won't actually get to catch up with them on their birthday. And in New Zealand, we would most likely say, oh, happy birthday for next week. And you just don't do that in Germany. It's a big no-no. So I found that kind of funny. Don't do it, because they're not going to appreciate you wishing them a happy birthday a week before their birthday. It has to be on the day. And I don't even know if you can wish them a happy birthday, like say happy birthday for the other day. Let me know if you're German and you're watching this. Is this considered okay? If you're a bit late, so like happy belated birthday, can you say that? I think it's just best that you get it right and wish somebody happy birthday on their actual birthday. Okay, so another thing that I found super weird when I first came to Germany, but also really cute at the same time, is the style in which quite a few Germans like to go supermarket shopping. I noticed that a lot of Germans love to carry this little picnic basket with them when they go supermarket shopping. Even men, like middle-aged men, you'll see a lot of them in the supermarket with a little picnic basket. And this is when they want to do just like a quick little shop, so they'll go in and get a few little bits and pieces, and they'll be carrying this little basket. My father-in-law does this, and I just think it's absolutely adorable, and I love it. You would never see this in New Zealand. It's just something that, I don't know, you just wouldn't see. I know this is just something super tiny, but I remember when I first moved to Germany noticing this and thinking it was kind of weird at first, and then thinking how cute, how absolutely adorable is that. Okay, so another thing that I found kind of weird when I first moved to Germany, and this was probably within the first 6 months of moving here, where I did not speak German and I had to rely on English to sort of get by. Just say if I was in a shop and I needed something, or I just needed to know something out in public, and I had to ask people whether they speak English. The majority of Germans, when I would ask them whether they spoke English, would be, I speak just a little bit. And so for me, speaking just a little bit of a language means you can maybe say a few words. But in most cases, these Germans would be what I would call fluent in English. Most likely it would be very basic English, but they were perfectly capable of having a pretty decent conversation in English, and I could understand what they were saying, they could understand what I was saying, and for me that means that they're fluent in English. But they would say, I only speak a little bit of English. So I think a lot of Germans, they really underestimate their level of English. And so most of the time, you know, if you ask somebody if they speak English in Germany, they'll say a little bit. Really, they speak pretty damn good English. So if you're German also and you're watching this and somebody asks you if you speak English, say yes I do, instead of like playing down your English. So that's just something I noticed and found a little bit weird at first, because I feel like if a native English speaker just spoke a little bit of a language and somebody asks them, do you speak Italian? And they spoke a few sentences, they'd say, yeah, I speak it. But a German would play down their ability. Okay, so last but not least, another weird thing that they do in Germany, and I notice this quite often at the end of a season, when the season is just sort of changing, maybe from spring to summer, or mostly when it's from winter to spring. Germans just completely get the weather wrong, and they will be dressed in just the most inappropriate gear. I notice it often, and I always point it out to my husband, that when you're sort of driving along, you'll see like one German wearing a huge big scarf and a big coat when it's pretty warm outside, and then you'll see another German walking along wearing shorts. You know, the sun might be shining a little bit, and you know, the other German, they won't be quite sure whether they can wear shorts, so they will like play it safe and they'll dress in a full-on winter outfit. And then the next German will decide, yeah, the sun's shining, it's summer, I'm going to break out my summer clothes. It's often when the seasons clock over in Germany, you'll notice a real mismatch in outfits. And some people dressed super warm like it's winter, and some people dressed in basically nothing like it's summer. And maybe it has something to do with the fact that it's always just so warm inside in Germany, and it's sometimes hard to tell what the weather is like. Like in New Zealand, you always know that, you know, if it's cold, or if it's hot, because you can feel it inside. We don't have these amazing well-insulated homes and really practical heating systems like in Germany, and so we can feel the cold. When it's cold inside, we can feel when it's warm, and so we usually get it right with our clothing. But honestly, in Germany, when the seasons cross over, you look outside, you think about this video and tell me whether I'm right or not. So anyway guys, that's all I've got for this video today. There are so many more things I could talk about, but I'm gonna save them for future videos. If you enjoyed this video, if you found it entertaining, then don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. I would love you to consider subscribing to my channel. Feel free to connect with me on Instagram, and I will see you again really soon. Bye!